This is Katie. He fell in love with Blair.
Once we met, it was like we were perfect. We just meshed very well together.
When the pair married in 2016, they were both women, but Katie always felt he was born in the wrong body.
Katie and I started off as two lesbians, so I was kind of shocked when he told me he was trans.
And whilst Blair was completely supportive of her husband, Katie's family have struggled to come to terms with his transition.
I'm from a very conservative family. I've been transitioning for roughly 10 months now, and it's basically like we're back at square one.
Katie's mum has not yet been able to accept his new pronouns and still refers to him as her daughter.
Today we're going to confront my mother about my transition.
Hello.
I'm pretty nervous.
Katie is my daughter. She will remain my daughter.
I know I put it in here. Yes. This is the weekends. If I'm not working, it's whiskey in the morning.
Oh my God, it smells terrible.
Cheers.
Katie and Blair first met in 2013.
And now I'm ready to go. Katie and I met when I was working at Hooters through a mutual friend.
I definitely made the first move. I got her number from our mutual friend, and I drove 4.5 hours to Louisiana and showed up at her job. I was just like, oh, go big or go home, I guess.
The red lipstick all over you.
The pair instantly hit it off, and within 3 years, they had tied the knot, in secret.
We actually eloped. We drove down to the beach, we got married, didn't tell anybody.
Nobody.
Took a Snapchat, standing there with our rings on that said we're married. Nobody was thrilled.
All of our relationship has been very eventful and exciting.
Oh yeah, it's been a roller coaster, that's for sure.
But up to this point, Blair was unaware that Katie was struggling with his gender.
When we started dating, Katie wasn't transitioning. We both identified as lesbians at the time. But I always considered Katie more guyish, but I always called Katie a little boy lesbian.
It's always just kind of been a battle back and forth throughout my life. It was one of those things where like, I just felt stuck. I could change jobs, I could move, but my sense of myself was still just constantly going back in a revolving circle, and I just couldn't take it anymore. I originally came out on her birthday. I just sent her a message, I really need to tell you something. I'm transgender, like, I really think I need to go to a doctor and see what the next steps would be.
When I got the text message, I didn't know what to do, and it took me a second to respond, but I knew I supported him.
Katie eventually saw a doctor and began his transition.
That was after 2 months.
I started hormone replacement therapy 10 months ago.
And it's weird because we didn't really notice anything until we started putting pictures side by side. Then we could actually like see differences.
That is my junior prom picture behind me.
Whilst Blair has been a constant throughout Katie's transition, his family have not been able to support his decision in the same way.
I'm from a very conservative family, and it took a while for them to come around. They still use she pronouns. My mother, it's kind of back and forth. I think it's my birthday. She is 5 hours away, so I don't see her every day. She's not here for all the little changes. She only sees the big changes every few months. I don't think she understands that this is a daily thing, that it's for the rest of my life.
Despite all of this, Katie and Blair are keen to push forward and plan to start their own family.
We would love to have a child. She wants to carry a child.
Yes, I want to be pregnant so bad, so bad.
But Katie's family are keen for Katie himself to give birth to the child.
My mother is very adamant now that I have a biological child. That's not how I want a baby.
Katie has decided that now is the right time to have an honest conversation with his mum about his transition.
I'm gonna be calling my mother, ask her how my transition's affected her. I'm a little nervous about it, just because I really don't know what I expect her to say. We're almost a year into me being on hormones, and there's not been any big conversation about it. It's connecting now. Hey.
Hello.
You ready now? So like my transition, like how is, I guess like your thoughts, concerns, worries over the last 10 months since I started hormones, like?
Well, you will always be my little girl, number one.
Mm-hmm.
And we've discussed that, and I think you and I are at terms with that. Because you know how firmly I stand on my Christianity.
I just feel like it's gonna get awkward the further along in my transition I get, because there is gonna come a time where I'm not going to look anything like a female at all.
In the eyes of this fallen world, you got to think about, I'm looking through a mother's eyes.
Yeah.
I just have that strong belief that I would prefer a child from you, because that is an extension biologically of you, just like you're a biological extension of me.
That's the thing, is like, whether Blair carries the baby or I carry the baby, like, that baby's your grandchild.
I'm looking at two females sitting here. That's an impossibility to have a child. Now, when y'all can show me how you can do that, then we'll have another sit down and discussion. It's not a one-sided thing. We each have our own beliefs. We each have our own foundation. Katie is my daughter. She will remain my daughter. I will always love her.
I just appreciate you, being honest and giving your side of it and answering the questions.
I appreciate you asking me. I love you more than anything in the world.
No, I love you too.
Won't never not love you. All right, I love you. I'll talk to you after a while.
All right, I love you. I would consider that a step forward, because as far as like the pronouns and things like that, it's something that's been brought up again.
It went a little bit better than I expected.
I definitely expected her to get kind of defensive, which she didn't. Yeah, I was actually really impressed.
Despite their difficulties, Katie and Blair are feeling optimistic about their future together.
I never doubted our relationship. I never worried that this would be a problem for us. It was more so how we were going to handle everybody else, I guess.
We've had some bumps and roads. And to think back and then see how far we've come from everything that we went through, it's amazing.
To truly and fully accept someone is to truly love them.
Unconditionally. No matter what.
The highs, the lows, the goods, the bads.
And everything in between.